My name is Rhea, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys how to ride a motorcycle. This video is perfect for anyone that's never ridden a motorcycle before or anyone that's interested in learning how to ride. I'm going to be going over all the basics, keeping it very simple and beginner friendly, showing you guys the controls of the bike and explaining to you what they do. Alright guys, I'm going to go from the left side of the bike to the right side. So first up we got this, which is the clutch. This disengages and engages the power of your engine to the bike's transmission, and also is what you use to shift gears. This right here is your low beam, high beam. Right under here it says pass. It's like a pass indicator. Right here you got your silly little horn. I say silly because it just sounds hilarious. It sounds so puny. So this right here is your turn signals. This is your left turn signal. As you can see, the left indicator light is on. On a bike, if you turn the handlebars to the left and then you straighten out again, your light's still going to be on. So you got to remember to turn this off. And how you're going to do that is just push it in. I mean, it depends on your bike, but most bikes are like this. So if you turn it on, it's on, push it in, that cancels it out. And then you got your right side, right indicator, and then that cancels it out. Here's where you put in your fuel when you get gas. Here is going to be your little dashboard. Got your fuel indicator here. I'm almost out of gas. Mine also tells me what gear I'm in. And you got your speedometer, which tells you just how fast you're going. All right, now over to this side. This is the kill switch. So this cuts off power to the engine. So when it's flicked up like this with the circle with the X, that means there's no power going to the engine. When it's down like this, that means the engine's primed. You're good to go to turn on the bike. This is what I was taught in the MSF course. You just kill the bike like that. But then you got to make sure that this is down when you want to try to start it. Here are my emergency lights. Just push that in, and then to cancel them out, you just push that in again, and it comes out. And then this is the ignition button. Once this is down and primed, and you press this button and the engine will start.
Now, where's your front brake?
Right here is your front brake. So I want to make sure you guys can see that. Right here is the front brake. This has 70% of your stopping power. Here is going to be your throttle. So you pull it back to give it throttle and then forward to release. Now to the side of the bike here. My bike has the key ignition on the side. Some bikes have it up in the center of the bike. On the left side of the bike is your gear shift lever. That's controlled by your left foot. And you're going to use your toe to move it up and down to shift gears. Basically it goes first neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth if your bike has a sixth gear. And if you're in first gear, you do half a shift up to neutral. If you're in second gear, half a shift down to neutral. And then of course, left side, there's the kickstand. The kickstand on my bike and also some bikes too, it'll automatically kill the engine. I think that's a safety thing. But yeah, that's just good to know in case you might be starting your bike and you have your kickstand down in your first gear and you're not sure why it's not starting. There's no power to the engine because some bikes have a kill switch with this kickstand down. All right, the right side of the bike. This is going to be your rear brake. So the rear brake has 30% of your stopping power. You just press it down like this. This is used as the handlebar lock, more of like an anti-theft thing, I guess. But basically, if you turn in your key here, it locks the handlebars so they're not able to move. All right, now we're going to talk about mounting the bike and how to mount the bike properly. You want your handlebars turned in towards the side where it's leaning, so towards the left. You're going to want to grab the left side of the handlebars, swing your leg over, mount the bike, grab the right handlebar, and then lean the bike up as you straighten out the handlebars. And you can go ahead and kick that kickstand back. And this will give you a good idea of how heavy the bike is. You can kind of sway it from side to side just to get an idea, especially if this is your first time ever on a bike, and also feel if it just seems too heavy for you. That's what I did at first. It's a lot to have to maneuver, and so you can get a feel for how heavy it is, especially for when you're going to be doing turns and stuff. So let's get to turning on the bike. Now I already have my key in the ignition, and I already have it on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit this right here, the kill switch. We're going to prime the engine, and that just means putting it down and making sure it has this circle with no X in it. Now we're in neutral, but I'm still going to pull in the clutch when I start the bike, just because I want to get in the habit of that, especially if you're in first gear. Obviously you don't want the bike to stall, so just get in the habit of pulling in the clutch when you're going to be starting the bike. I'm going to now press the ignition button, and I've started the bike. Now, since I am in neutral, I can release this clutch and the bike's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to do anything because I'm in neutral. But I want you all to get into the habit of slowly releasing the clutch no matter what gear it's in. So now it's in neutral. I can slowly release this clutch and nothing happens. Versus what would happen if this bike was in first gear. Let me show you that. So we're gonna pull in the clutch. I'm going to downshift into first gear. If I release this clutch a little bit, the bike starts going forward. That's what we call the friction zone. All right, that was not me doing that. That's all the bike. So, right, I don't have my right hand on the throttle or anything. I'm slowly releasing the clutch and the bike is moving on its own. I'm gonna show you guys what happens if you dump the clutch in first gear. You're gonna stall the bike. So that means if I just completely release it, yeah, you don't wanna do that. It's gonna jump forward and it's kind of a scary feeling, to be honest. So let's start the bike up again. I'm gonna start it up in first gear, so I definitely wanna be making sure I'm pulling in the clutch. The engine is already primed here. I didn't kill it, so I'm good to press this button here. So let's do that. And there we go. So now, I don't wanna fully release this, especially without giving it any gas. We're not gonna be doing anything with the throttle right now, so don't even touch that. Don't even worry about that, especially if it's just your first time. We're gonna just get familiar with the friction zone. And this is a good drill to practice, you know, just go back and forth. You can put your other hand on the right handlebar just for, you know, stability, but we're not gonna be using the throttle, just releasing, finding that friction zone, walking forward, and then walking back. Next, once you're familiar with that and you kind of practice that a little bit, you can actually just start kind of going, letting the bike take you. Don't use the throttle at all, just let the bike take you. You kind of walk, you can walk with it, or you can put your feet up. Both my feet are up, and you can just coast in the friction zone. So I'm not fully releasing it, I'm not even using the throttle at all, and the bike is just doing its thing. So this is a good drill to practice to kind of get familiar with the friction zone. Once you're comfortable doing this for a little bit, then you can incorporate some throttle, okay? And once you start incorporating that throttle, you start going a little bit, right? I'm gonna go back to the friction zone. Once you start incorporating that throttle, then you can fully release the clutch, my left hand. So I'm gonna crank up so I'm gonna use the throttle a little bit, and then I can fully release this left hand. So I'm not pulling in the clutch anymore. And we're kind of cruising around 9 miles per hour. So that's pretty good. All right, we're gonna go back into the friction zone. So I'm gonna pull in the clutch a little bit. I'm gonna release the throttle, and we're back into the friction zone. Okay, again, if I were to release this fully right now, the bike stalls, right? All right, so we're gonna give some power and release the clutch. And now we're going, right? Okay, I'm gonna park back up again, because that's all I'm showing you. So I'm pulling in the clutch, I'm using both brakes and coming to a complete stop. I'm just putting my left foot down because I used both brakes to stop. The clutch is pulled in, and I'm gonna kill the engine with the kill switch. I'm gonna put the kickstand down. Actually, I'm gonna get more in frame if you can see me. And there we go, there you have it. That's how you ride a motorcycle, guys. I hope that was informative. I hope my camera didn't die. We're still going, okay. Maybe a little outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more motorcycle content. If I missed anything, or if you guys have more questions about how to ride, feel free to leave them in the comments. Yeah, I would highly suggest taking an MSF course. That's what I did. But this is just to get you the very basic level knowledge of how to ride a motorcycle. I would highly recommend practicing in an empty parking lot. I was practicing in parking lots for a while, and then I took the MSF course, and then I still wasn't really ready fully for the road. So I highly suggest the MSF course. That's where you'll be able to ride some of their bikes that they provide, so that you're not practicing on your own, because I know practicing on your own can be kind of scary. You don't want to drop it. So highly recommend that. But hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.